from books.
Me too.
That's part of what got me into reading, was like, okay, you know this, okay, like The Hunger Games. It was one of the first books I read as an adult. I used to suck at reading.
Actually, The Hunger Games was the first, well, no, that's stupid. I can't say it like that, but it's one of the first books that I read where I was like, I'm going to be a reader.
Yes, same.
It's not like the book that I was like, I'm just reading this just because I have to read this.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was like, after I was done, I was like, oh, hell yes, I am reading.
I fucking loved The Hunger Games.
Yeah.
And like, especially listening to the audiobook was so good.
Yes.
And the movies, oh my gosh. The movies were so good with it too. But listening to the book was even, God forbid, more fun. So, I don't know where I was going with this. I don't know where I was going with that.
No, but honestly, like, I just think that, I want to go see the movie.
Oh, I was saying, yeah, I like watching movies that were from books.
Yeah.
Cool story, Beth.
Bottom. That's it. And done.
The end.
And there it is.
That's what got me into reading, was I found The Hunger Games because I had watched the movies, and my sister like swore by the books, and she liked the movies, because usually you hear these readers who hated the movies, but because they read the books, you know?
Right.
And so I was like, oh, fuck you guys. Like, all you guys ever do is like swear by the book. Mm-hmm. You never can appreciate the movie. And as someone who
appreciate the book for what it is, appreciate the movie for what it is.
Yeah, they're two different fucking forums.
Yes.
It's two different like
platforms.
ways of listening to this story.
Yes.
And so, yeah, The Hunger Games was the first that ever turned me on to reading.
I agree.
Because it was so good as a movie and so good as a book.
And they did a really good job translating the book to the movie. I think that...
Yeah, I agree.
Because I watched the movie first and then read the book.
Yes.
And I was like, yes.
But listening to the book, did you listen or read it?
I read it.
Okay, I'm sure it was the same experience, but God, it was so much fun listening to it. I was like, what's gonna happen? Even though I knew what was gonna fucking happen. I would definitely reread it. Those are such good youth adult.
Yes, and there's just something very special about reading adventure books, which is why this is the third one in our podcast. Oh. Because it's very important to go back and really figure out the young self of who you are. I guess the young find that young person in you.
Yes.
As you grow older.
Yes. Oh my God, I'm so into that, because you never really like fully grow up to ignore your youthful self. Yeah. You know, I have never met like a... Okay, I'm going to talk about Reddit for a second. There was this post of this old man saying he didn't know how old he was. And his son's like, guess how old you are? And he's like, 91? Nope. 92? Nope. 93? Nope. 94? Nope. 95? And he's like, yeah, you're 95. Oh my God, when did I get so old? Mm-hmm. Like, he's 95 fucking years old. He doesn't realize he's 95. He still thinks, you know, life moves so fast. It's a blink of the eye. It's a snap of the fingers.
It's a snap of the fingers.
It just moves so quickly that I think as a 95-year-old, you don't have the capacity to ignore your youthfulness.
No, absolutely.
I bet a 95-year-old reading this book would still be like, I'm fucking time traveling.
Right.
Like, they'd still be into it.
No, I completely agree.
And that's why I love reading these type of books, is it takes you back to being a kid. No matter how old you are, it takes you back to being full of imagination and endless possibilities.
Yes.
And with my life of deadlines and real adult things, it's nice to fall into this type of book and not remember that shit.
Yeah.
You know?
And just kind of disappear for a little bit.
Yeah, you can just engage in this type of life of time traveling, and there's these three misses, and I don't know. That's why I enjoyed this book so much, was because it was just...
You can pick up a book and change who you are and change where you are.
I don't have to think about real life. I can just fucking time travel.
It's awesome.
This quintet is awesome.
I haven't read it since I was... Honestly, I need to reread everything because it's been since I was a kid.
The last one I stopped at was her twin brothers. Mm-hmm. I forget their names, but I wasn't too into that book. So I kind of... Anymore, I'm like, I'm not continuing a book if I'm not into it.
Yes.
So I stopped that book, and that was
my life
fourth.
is too short for that.
Yeah, I got too many books to read. But I think maybe the second or third one were my favorites, even better than this one.
Really?
I love this author. It's so engaging. It's so fantastical.
Yes.
You guys need to fucking read this book.
It's very imaginative.
I can't wait to see this movie with you.
So, Beth.
My name's Beth, yeah.
What did you rate it on Goodreads?
It was a 4, same as yours. And the reason I rated it as a 4 instead of a 5 was because now as an adult, I don't know, I didn't read as a kid. Well, I don't know, fuck it. Let's continue with this. Now I'm more into learning about what those other planets are like. Uh-huh. So they talk about going to this other place. They're on this place that's very mechanical and robotic, and they don't talk about it. And I want to hear about that. I want to hear about that planet. And so the fact that they didn't, or Madeleine L'Engle didn't go into that is why I rated it as a 4. Because she just made it so it was acceptable to all age groups.
Right.
Because maybe a younger kid doesn't want to hear about that.
Well, and I don't know, like, this may be very, like, for books that were written for that specific age group, I was not even a thought in 1963.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the competition was like.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't know if there was a huge standard that was set as far as
it's fair.
Digging into that. I think she may have also done it on purpose, just so that you had to imagine what that was.
Oh, I like that.
But honestly, Beth, that's exactly why I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. Yes.
I think it's because we're adults.
I think so.
Because of what you just said. It's like she expected that age group to imagine it. Mm-hmm. But we're adults and we're like, fucking tell us.
Yeah.
My imagination's spent.
Fucking tell me what it looks like. Yeah. Well, and for me, like, a really good example is the end of the book. They wrap it up. She wraps it up in 3 pages.
It's so quick.
Yes, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah, what the fuck just happened?
Yes, like she's on the planet with her brother, freaking out about what to do on the third to last page, yeah. And then the last page she's at home with her mom and her brothers and her dad, and they're all like hugging and loving on each other. Like, I'm like, what? How did you do that?
Yeah, I didn't like the ending too much.
I just think it needed to be longer.
I think it was great for kids though, which I think is the age group.
Right, and that's why I'm like, am I even a good judge for this?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I rated it 4 stars. I was like, a kid would love
as
this.
A 12-year-old, I would have rated it 5 out of 5.
So my niece is 8, and she's a great reader, and this is on her list of books to read as a kid. And so I'm excited for her to read this book because, man, an 8-year-old reading this book.
Yeah, it's a whole nother level.
Or even like hearing it from your mom. Like, yeah. It's going to be so exciting for her.
It's way different.
They're going to love the ending type of thing. They're going to love the leaving it to your imagination.
Yes.
Because their imagination is so big.
Because they don't know reality at all. So it could go anywhere.
Yes. I'm so excited to talk to my niece about this book. It was a great book, even as an adult.
I completely agree.
Thank you for giving me that book.
You're welcome.
Good book we chose.
I agree.
And we chose good beers.
Yes.
I love your Mama Bear's analogy, simile, metaphor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What book are we doing next week?
So, I don't know if you agree with this, but I am reading The Nightingale right now, and I cannot put it down. It is so good. So that's one of my options.
Okay.
1984, I'm also reading.
Okay.
And I know you read The Nightingale.
The Nightingale, think was...
I cannot put that down.
I think it is my favorite book.
What?
Yes.
Oh my god. I fucking love this book. I think this should be our next book. I will definitely finish this by our next podcast.
Yes, that is probably... I'm not even shitting you. This book is probably my favorite book.
I was really turned off from the beginning because I don't like books that begin with, I'm old as shit.
Like the Titanic?
Yes, exactly. I don't want to get too into it, but I think that could be our fifth book?
Fifth book, yeah.
Our next one, though,
is...
You Are a Badass.
I'm so glad you referred this book to me.
And I'm glad we didn't immediately go into it after...
Whoa. We have to back up because on the last episode, we said that we were going to do... what is it called?
You Are a Badass.
No, the red...
The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck?
Yes, and remember I couldn't find it.
Because Audrey was wrong.
Yes, so we're not doing that book. We're actually
We might, eventually.
No, absolutely, but not on the next episode.
And that's totally fair because I am of the opinion that there are so many self-help books that kind of say the same thing.
For sure.
That you maybe get kind of burnt out on it.
You get it.
So we need a break of like A Wrinkle in Time or The Nightingale.
All right.
So we'll get to that book.
Absolutely.
But for now, You Are a Badass is available.
Yes.
From the library because we're cheap as fuck.
And I actually finished it already.
Already?
Yes.
Oh, fuck, let's go to our next podcast. I already bought my beer and everything.
No. So, You Are a Badass is next week, and it's my new fucking Bible.
No way.
I love it. But we don't need to talk about it.
I'm so excited to hear about.
Okay.
Oh my god, I'm so excited to talk to you about that one.
And then the week after, we're going to do The Nightingale.
We should do The Nightingale.
Absolutely.
And then you should choose the next book.
I just want to worship both books.
I love those. Okay, you have to tell me, though, which books you're reading, because...
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
We have a 2-week head start, so we're good.
Okay, I'm so nervous.
I am just so excited.
This is so much fun.
Yes, I love this podcast. I love it so much.
This episode's great. Probably my favorite episode.
Hopefully.
3 out of 3. Favorite one so far.
Yes, 3 stars out of 3 stars.
So next one is You Are a Badass.
And then the week after is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna.
Great. She's so great.
Is it Kirsten?
I don't know.
Man, I'm the worst. I'm the worst with authors.
Well,
I'm so bad at that.
Shall we cheers and say goodbye?
Yes.
It was a pleasure talking to you about books and beer.
Books and beer all day.
Love you, girl.
Beer and book.
Bye.
Bye.